What happens when the most powerful athletic apparel corporation on the planet decides to completely tear up their established playbook, break a 2-decade-long rule, and secretly crown a rookie quarterback as the absolute face of American football before he even secures a starting job? We are officially witnessing one of the most unprecedented, highly classified corporate chess moves in the modern history of professional sports. The establishment media wants you to believe that the Cleveland Browns quarterback battle is being decided entirely between the white lines of the practice field. But the absolute truth is far more complex and involves hundreds of millions of dollars in corporate leverage currently being orchestrated out of Beaverton, Oregon. Nike is quietly building a massive, unstoppable empire around Shedeur Sanders, and it is actively threatening to completely destroy the traditional power structure of the National Football League. You are locked into NFL Zone Talks, the absolute, undisputed authority on the raw, unvarnished truth behind the biggest cover-ups, positional battles, and locker room dynamics shaping the league. Make sure you absolutely smash that subscribe button, hit the like, and let's dive directly into the highly explosive reality of Nike's secret master plan. To truly comprehend the sheer, mind-numbing scale of this corporate operation, you first have to look closely at what is actually materializing on the practice fields in Berea. Most casual fans scrolled right past the recent training camp photos without fully understanding the gravity of what they were looking at. But eagle-eyed observers immediately noticed something incredibly shocking about the footwear on Shedeur Sanders. These were not standard-issue, team-colored rookie cleats. These were stealth builds. The custom cleats showing up at Browns practices feature a highly advanced, heavily guarded design language that looks like it was pulled directly from Nike's most elite, high-end signature basketball lines. When a rookie enters the league, they typically get a basic colorway swap or a minor logo tweak. They do not get dedicated, ground-up design resources. The sheer existence of these prototypes on a practice field is an absolute, undeniable tell that Nike is constructing an entire ecosystem. But that wasn't the whole story. Because while the physical cleats were quietly making their debut on the grass, a massive, aggressive maneuver was simultaneously occurring in the legal department. Industry insiders recently exposed a fascinating paper trail of trademark filings tied directly to Shedeur's personal brand and his legendary moniker. And the most shocking part? These filings were not submitted by some third-party licensing partner or a middleman agency. They were reportedly pushed through by personnel working directly within Nike's internal legal department. Nike is actively executing the exact kind of proactive, highly expensive brand protection work that they traditionally reserve exclusively for franchise-level, generational investments. They are legally locking down his identity, preparing for a retail onslaught that the football world has not seen in decades. And what happened next would completely shock everyone who understands the historical economics of the apparel industry. For the last 20 years, Nike has operated with a notoriously strict, incredibly conservative playbook when it comes to National Football League quarterbacks. They wait. They watch. They force a player to endure multiple grueling seasons, secure playoff victories, and establish a bulletproof legacy before they ever commit real design and marketing resources to a signature product line. The physical toll of the sport, the helmets hiding the players' faces, and the sheer complexity of gridiron equipment have always made signature football lines a massive financial risk. Yet, they are completely shattering their own rulebook for a rookie who is currently sitting in the middle of a highly contentious, incredibly toxic depth chart battle in Cleveland. The reason Nike is perfectly willing to risk hundreds of millions of dollars on an unproven asset comes down to cold, hard, indisputable mathematics. There is a spreadsheet currently sitting in a boardroom in Beaverton that completely exposes why this decision was incredibly easy. Leaked data circulating among top industry insiders suggests that Shedeur Sanders is already driving apparel conversion rates that completely obliterate the numbers of highly established, Pro Bowl caliber veterans. We are talking about players who have been in the league for years, guys with championship rings and massive television exposure, actively getting outsold by a rookie who hasn't even taken a meaningful regular season snap. Nike isn't blindly betting on his potential to throw touchdowns. They are aggressively betting on a massive, highly loyal consumer ecosystem that already exists, already converts, and is actively printing money. This staggering level of off-field pull is exactly why Nike believes Shedeur is the ultimate holy grail they have been desperately searching for. For decades, Nike has absolutely dominated the global sneaker market through signature basketball lines. The Jordan brand alone fundamentally changed the entire economics of athlete endorsements. But football has always been the stubborn, highly frustrating holdout. You simply cannot wear traditional spiked football cleats to the mall or the grocery store. But Shedeur Sanders represents something entirely different. He possesses the undeniable, crossover cultural appeal of a premier basketball superstar, operating in a sport that Nike has never been able to fully monetize at the lifestyle level. This is exactly why there are reportedly dedicated, top-tier design teams inside Nike headquarters working exclusively on a lifestyle-meets-performance gridiron collection built entirely around his image. They are not manufacturing a quick cash grab. They are actively building a permanent retail empire. But this massive corporate investment introduces a completely terrifying, highly volatile dynamic into the Cleveland Browns front office. When a corporation with the limitless resources of Nike builds this much infrastructure around a single player, that player completely transcends the traditional boundaries of a standard employee. He becomes a massive, walking conglomerate that is arguably far more culturally relevant than the franchise itself. This creates an incredibly uncomfortable, highly aggressive leverage shift. What exactly happens when Nike's bespoke, highly customized Shedeur collection starts bumping up against the NFL's notoriously strict, incredibly rigid team equipment contracts? The league has a long, highly publicized history of actively fining players for uniform violations. But a signature line of this magnitude isn't built to quietly comply with the rules. It is built to force massive accommodations that most veterans could never even dream of negotiating. The entire NFL power structure is currently sitting on a ticking time bomb, and the countdown clock is tied directly to the Cleveland depth chart. The traditional hierarchy of professional football has always been painfully simple. The team holds the absolute power. The franchise drafts you, pays you, dictates your role, and completely controls your public narrative. But what Nike is quietly constructing around Shedeur actively threatens to completely destroy that hierarchy. When a player's personal corporate backing operates at a scale that eclipses the local market, the team no longer holds all the cards. The Browns don't just have to worry about his mechanics in the pocket. They have to manage their relationship with a player who doesn't actually need their platform to be one of the most recognizable, highly compensated athletes on the planet. We are officially standing at an absolute, undeniable precipice regarding the future of athlete empowerment in the National Football League. Every single signal points to a highly coordinated, incredibly aggressive retail detonation. Nike is simply waiting in the shadows, holding back the full-scale marketing campaign until the absolute second Shedeur Sanders is officially named the starting quarterback. When that inevitable announcement happens, this stops being a story about a cool pair of custom cleats. It officially becomes the brand new blueprint for how the next generation of superstars will actively seize power from the billionaire owners. I want to hear your absolute raw, unfiltered thoughts down in the comments below. Do you genuinely believe Nike is making a genius, long-term bet on the most marketable quarterback of this generation? Or are they about to get massively burned by investing in hype before he proves himself on Sundays? Drop your absolute best, most aggressive takes below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay permanently locked into the absolute truth, and I will see you all in the very next deep dive.